тебе, товарищ Восток, от Батыра. Давай!
Greetings, dear friends on the channel Military Reporter. On this footage you can see how Russian FPV operators continue to destroy enemy equipment in the Belgorod region. Pathetic attempts to penetrate Russian territory ended in failure. Footage from the archives. 120mm mortar mines transported by one donkey traction. In this video you can see fighting near Chasiv Yar. Russian army storms Ukrainian positions. Black small square of 4 vehicles stormed the AFU positions. Black small square, under cover of tank fire, Russian fighters landed from an armored vehicle and entered the enemy fortifications. Black small square, successful assault. The armored vehicles rolled away unhindered. Russian UAV operators of the 87th Regiment with drops on the positions of the AFU destroyed a mine where the Russian equipment could undermine. Footage from the South Donetsk direction. Spectacular footage of the destruction of the American HMMWV. After a hit by the Southern Group scout drones, the car literally had its roof ripped off. Ukrainian stuntmen heard the sound of an approaching FPV drone and jumped out of a HMMWV carrying ammunition to the front. One failed to jump out, the equipment burned. Events from Kursk region. Footage: another war crime by Ukrainian militants. The Ukrainian armed forces tried to simulate surrender and attempted to seize weapons, but were liquidated by Russian fighters from the Southern Group. By the way, this is not the first time when enemy soldiers imitate surrender. Such an action is called TV, i.e. a gross violation of the laws and customs of war. Attempt of Ukrainian army to repel Russian positions in Kupiansk direction. Result: 6 Ukrainian soldiers, 200 and minus armored personnel carrier M113. On the Zaporizhia direction, Russian fighters neutralized Baba Yaga, a hexacopter flying to attack Russian positions. This means that someone's life was saved. Footage of the liberation of Sudzha from the camera of a Russian armed forces fighter.
Подвал есть? У нас типа перекур.
Destruction of Ukrainian armed forces equipment in the so-called counteroffensive at the junction of Belgorod and Kursk regions. The area of the village of Demidovka. The FPV dispatch of the Arctic Marine Battalion, 40 Ogbrim. This video is from Kupiansk direction. The enemy failed the assault on our stronghold north of Stepova Novoselka 352nd MSP, and the soldiers of Kontoria Group successfully repulsed the enemy's advance. The Ukrainian armed forces sent one BBM with a paratrooper into the battle, but during the landing the Ukrainian soldiers came under heavy fire from the Russians. The survivors attempted to storm the Russian stronghold, but a fighter put down the enemy infantry. Russian troops test-fired an MRS on a ground drone. The video depicts an episode of using a Russian multiple rocket launcher mounted on a ground drone with a wheeled chassis. The Ukrainian armed forces' position in the landing is being shelled by direct fire. More than 50 targets of the Ukrainian armed forces in a week. Zala Lancet complexes knock out the enemy in the South Donetsk direction. In this footage you can see how the units of the Vostok group of troops are pushing the enemy in the South Donetsk direction. The enemy is retreating, losing equipment and personnel. Russian servicemen are being assisted in uncovering AFU positions by Zala Z-16 reconnaissance vehicles. Operators of high-precision barrage munitions of the Lancet family are striking at priority targets. It is lightweight, undetectable to the enemy. It is made of materials that do not reflect radio signals, making it difficult to detect and intercept by air defense systems. In the video you can see how the Bullet system, a Russian anti-drone defense system, warns the fighter about the appearance of a drone, and this saved the Russian soldier.
Спасибо тебе, Булат.
Russian reconnaissance officers are nightmarishing the Ukrainian armed forces with MOL. Intelligence uncovered a network of strongholds of the 64th Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces near Yampol in the Krasnolymansk direction. It was decided to use wheeled drones MOL loaded with explosives. The result is on the video. Footage from the Kupiansk direction. Russian drone crews from the 352 Motorized Rifle Regiment showed epic footage of destroying enemy equipment. Blowing up enemy ammunition is considered a special chic. Then the enemy will definitely not evacuate the equipment and will not restore it. From the first seconds, an epic explosion. 61st Independent Guards Kirkin's Red Banner Marine Brigade is working. The video shows the destruction of an enemy UAV control center on the right bank of the river. Grad calculations of the Yasnaya group of forces struck in Ukrainian armed forces stronghold. The strikes were carried out from the Dzержinsk direction. Young recruits get combat experience. In the Zvino UAV group in the Zaporizhia direction, new operators are being tested. This footage shows the first destruction of enemy equipment by a Russian drone operator.
Можешь посмотреть ближе под башню и ударить. Или в люк, если открытый в люк. Ну ветер, потому что ветер. БМП-2. Люк под башню залетишь или там сетка? На крайняк вот в угол можно ударить. Но там тоже сетка. Давай сзади посмотрим, что. Сетка сзади, ну хотя там же эти. Сетка сзади тоже. Пиздец, какая сетка. Так, сзади не вариант. Спереди остается. Давай под башню туда. Зайди прям спереди. Там тоже сетка. Слева нету, справа есть. Слева надо залетать на башню. Ага, вот так хорошо делаешь. Подышь. Видишь, да, слева, справа сетка есть, слева нет. Если что, движок у нее вот спереди, слева.
That's all, dear friends. Subscribe to the channel, put likes, and don't forget to click on the bell to not miss new episodes. Leave your comments. Your opinion is very important to us. See you soon.